Thank God I made it. Yeah, we here right now. In case you didn't know, this is no other than the Remix Morning Show. Or should I say, the Remix Morning Show. Black Power Media, in case you didn't know. Now, it's time to get into it. Let me introduce you to our hosts. We got no other than Dr. Jared. And Burn It Down, Kim And congratulations and big up to my homegirl, Jackie Luma. How's she gonna freeze?
I'm trying to make the balloons come out.
Wait a minute, how do I camera freeze like this?
The worst.
How do I make the balloons come out?
Yes. Can the church say amen?
Amen.
Oh my goodness.
Jackie.
I don't know why we so excited and celebrating. Jackie, you want to know?
Well, it seems that some kind soul who is a participant in the esteemed Georgetown University organ transplant program has decided to offer me a kidney. Yes, let's get it. Let's get these new kidneys. Let's get these 2024 kidneys, Jackie. Let's go in here. Let's get them new Jones. Yes, congratulations, Jacqueline. Ooh, man, I'm anxious. Like literally, I had to take my antidepressants today because I'm all just like, okay.
You sound like you're in a tunnel now.
Am I a little bit too? Yeah, let me fix that. But yeah, so the way this has worked, it has been a real it's been a real pain in the ass process. Just going through all of the tests and that really wasn't even the bad part. The really difficult part was that before you get to the part of an actual transplant, there isn't a lot of great communication. The people who donate, who go through the testing to be a donor, they have their own nurse coordinator. And then when somebody is identified who is a match to the recipient, that's me, then they get a new nurse coordinator. And then every step in the process, there's a new nurse coordinator for me too. So when I was going through my initial testing, I had one nurse coordinator. When they identified a potential donor, then I got a new nurse coordinator. And those two nurse coordinators for the recipient and the donor do not talk to each other. They don't communicate at all. So other than my nurse coordinator telling me, okay, well, we're close to finding a recipient, that's really, or we found a potential donor, that's all they could tell me. And then it's just a lot of hurry up and wait. And so when I knew who my donor was because she just happened to be a friend of mine from church. So she's telling me everything that she's going through. She was telling me, they told me that I'm a match before I was told by, my nurse coordinator that we found a match. And the communication was just not bad. It was just not good. And it was really, really frustrating for both of us. So then it turns out that she is not a perfect match for me. And perfect is not an accurate statement, because I don't think there really is any such thing in organ donation, but they look for an organ match that is what's called a low epilet match. because I don't produce any antibodies. I have to draw my blood every month and send samples of my blood off to the transplant center, to the dialysis center, to make sure that, you know, the dialysis is cleaning my blood as effectively as I should, that I'm taking the right medication, all this kind of stuff. So every month they test my blood at the transplant center for the antibodies that if I'm producing any antibodies and how many and which ones. So I've never produced any antibodies. Don't ask me which antibodies. I have no idea. I just know that I don't produce any. But my donor does. So because she produces antibodies, she is and the number and the kind of antibodies she produces, that would make her a medium mismatch, a medium epaulet mismatch for me. So what we did was we entered into the paired exchange program, and that's where it gets even more complicated, because what happens is once we're accepted into the paired exchange program, the transplant center finds a more suitable donor for me, and then they find a more suitable recipient for her. So that's what happened. And we didn't expect for it to happen as fast as it did, because it normally does. I started dialysis in October or November of last year. Most people are on dialysis who are on the transplant list for 2 or 3 years, maybe. They wait 2 or 3 years for a transplant. That's about the average. This happened in a year, in a little bit less than a year. Through all the frustration and all of the everything, I was not expecting to get that call yesterday when I came in the house, but I did. So November 9th is the date of the transplant surgery. So I'm looking at like maybe, I don't know, 3 months of recovery, but I'll do dialysis until obviously the surgery. And if all goes well, all of this machine, these 2 machines, they will come pick it up and take it out of the house.
Get out of here.
They will take all of these boxes of medical supplies. I will not have to stick myself with needles to do dialysis, to clean my blood anymore. And
then you can become a vegan like Dr. Ball.
I'll consider it. I'll consider it.
Pescatarian, something close. But
I'll consider it while I'm eating the cheeseburger.
You know what I'm saying? And pick up to your church friend. I thought you was gonna get like one of them Steve Rogers kidneys, one of them bionic ones. But nice.
They're actually testing the compatibility of lab grown organs, and the kind of technology like for kidneys that are like pacemakers. So that they're testing like this. So yeah, but I'm gonna need a whole lot of Yelp reviews before I do that kind of. Yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, this has been a season of transition for me in a lot of ways. And
wow.
Yeah.
So the kidney gets here November 9th, November 10th. We going to the bar and taking it for a test drive.
StreamYard was so happy that they decided to freeze Jackie, and
I don't know why this thing keeps doing this.
She likes you doing a bank can't bounce. I see.
I can't figure out what the heck the problem is with this, and it's only my Mac Studio. I don't know what the problem is, but. Yeah,
Jackie, that's amazing news. That is the best news that we could have gotten for this entire week. I feel like, we have watched you deal with this, for the past year and some change. It has obviously not been an easy process for you. It's stressful, it's taxing, your life was on the line. Let's be real here. So now I feel like everything has been renewed for you. Like I'm excited. I feel like we're expecting a baby, girl. I'm so excited for you about this kidney. So congratulations, Jackie. Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't know. I hate to take. I cannot take any credit for anything, any of this. This is just, some it's wild to me that there are people who just agree to donate their organs and wait for somebody who needs it.
Wow.
And that's what the situation is. It's so that's the person who is donating the kidney in the Georgetown kidney transplant program. It's also wild to me.
I don't know, Jackie.
Huh?
I don't know. I'm just saying, it seems like you're on a certain path that's doing right. So right things come to you. So I would continue to be on your path, keep organizing, keep doing the great things you're doing, because I guess it's meant to be for you.
No, I'm gonna turn evil now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna use the kidney for evil. That's what I'm gonna do.
Super villain Jackie. Let's go.
No, but but it's also wild to me that, when I announced that, that I needed a kidney, that I was on dialysis and, and I needed a kidney to live, I could not believe the number of people who donated, who went through the tests, who wanted to go through the tests, but were upset that they were told by their doctors that they couldn't because, of medical conditions that they had. I was floored by all of the people who were, here come the emotions. I was floored by all of the people who were willing to not just support me, but to donate an organ for me so that I could live. And I don't have the words for, I don't have the words for the love and support that came from people throughout not just this, but throughout the whole last 2 years since Abdus passed. I don't have the words for how much love everybody has shown me.
All right.
I'm just blown away. I'm just really blown away.
I love it.
Right
So
on,
come on,
Jackie.
do a break.
Where my Kleenex at? Good Lord. Welcome to a Remix Morning Show where you get good news, you get great news, and we be dropping science right here, yo. We talking about kidneys, we talking about what's going on in the war, man, right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show, y'all. Let me go find my... Oh! We dropping science. Whew. Lord of mercy. Big up everybody out there. This is no other than the Remix Morning Show. We give y'all everything right here. We give y'all our heart, our soul, our mind, our intellect, all that right here on the Remix Morning Show. All right. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and go to patreon.com, become a member over there, and check out the content we got over there. Also, tell a friend to tell a friend. It's on again every Tuesday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. All right, I finished my rhyme. Bars. Let's talk about what's going on right here on Black Power Media. Let's talk about what's been going on and some catch up on some shows you might have not seen. Let me put you on to them. Let's first start off with Breaking Barriers. We're talking about Piper when she's talking to Star, the MC. What are they talking about?
Doing?
I'm well. How are you, sis? Peace,
I'm
everybody.
good.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we're live. We're
wow.
live, and there's people in the chat. I want to say peace to the Black Power Media chat.
Peace.
And,
all right, I can't see them.
Oh, if you, it says comments.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is going to be
I
this is
see
dope
it.
show right here.
Wow,
Reason
pasta
being, you got
sauce.
Startup MC. Startup MC has been
Wanted to
rhyming with a
try
bunch
that.
of
It's
people like
that's what
MF
it's like
Doom, all types of
$9 a
people
jar,
been
and I'm
rhyming
like,
for a long time. So it's good to see you sisters
Right.
chop it up.
It's
All
gotta
right,
be
that
amazing.
was one of the joints
Okay,
y'all got to
that's
check
what's
out
up.
right there. Other than that, make sure y'all check out Coco. Coco came through on Confronting Contradictions, and she was talking that talk about normalizing white supremacy and Israeli fascism. Let's see what she's talking about.
What really prevented the Europeans from struggling within? And so the Germans and other European or Eastern Europeans said, we don't want you here. So we want you somewhere else. And so we want you to be in that region.
So go find out what region she's talking about right there. And last but not least, let's go to Sundays Radio with yours truly and also Pretty Dope Dia. What are we talking about?
Like, yo, if you had to pick which one to maybe like do your party and you only had a choice, it's like, all right, I got a choice of these two MCs to do my birthday party. Which one can I have? And let's think about no other than Rod Digger and Bahamadia. Those are your
all right. So what you think? Rod Digger, Bahamadia. Go check out what was said on Sundays Radio right here on Black Power Media. With that said, let's go ahead and get back to the crew. You know how we do. All right.
Yep, I'm Dr. Science. The Verna Posse, along with me.
All right.
As we proceed.
What's up, Kamal? I'm glad Kamal is here, by the way, because
Is it everybody?
But we got criticism that I wanted to bring up with you. So I'm glad. Yeah, we got called out.
Who is
So,
we in particular?
You and me, and
did y'all
by
do?
extension the remix. I'm gonna come back to that in a second. But I just wanted to say, if I could just share in this moment of love that we just had with Jackie and the whole BPM community.
You're welcome,
I
Jackie.
think-
That I gave you my kidney.
There it goes. Ruined.
That's mine. It's my kidney.
In the words of Stewie.
Brooklyn's
Not
in the
true.
house.
No, it's not.
Brooklyn
It's not.
is definitely
I
in the
was trying to
house.
hold it back, but I couldn't. It is.
It is not.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Just say you're welcome.
All right. Could we let Dr. Ball finish here?
Oh.
Good Lord.
This is terrible, Brooklyn. But that Rod Digger clip, I watched her recently as she rejoined what's my man's name on their podcast, Yadameen podcast. And I'm reminded, I think I have a crush on her. I think it's still here. Like I knew I used to.
On Rod Digger?
But yeah, my wife's at work, so I think I could get away with this. I have always been a huge fan. Like she is the type of person that every time I see her and listen to her, I'm like, I would really want to be hanging out with her. It's like even that's the kind. It's not even necessarily. It could, whatever. But I'm just saying, it's more like that. It's like, and then in the last discussion she had, she was asked who would she want to work with, and she said Pharaoh Monch.
Oh, did she?
And I was like, we are so right here. And it
You're made for
reminded
each
me,
other.
that's what I'm saying. I was like reminded of this never happened star-crossed love affair that only one of us acknowledges is even a potential. And
even knows about.
Even knows is like, that's what I'm saying. She doesn't know I exist. So it's like I'm right back in high school. I'm right back in middle school. The girl I'm crushing on don't even know I exist. And I'm just in the back of the room like, I like her. And she just doing her thing. And I'm like, we on the same page.
Man.
She had one of the best hip hop lines of all time. I'm gonna beat that bitch with a bat. I'm gonna beat that bitch.
Was that her line?
That was her
my
line.
God.
That was her line. That was her line.
That was the greatest line.
That
was the greatest line.
You.
I'm gonna beat that bitch with a bat. I was like, yo.
Need a first name, Rashid. Man. So I was like, when you brought that clip up, I was like, that's.
I hope Jared's wife never see this. She gonna be like, Jared gonna be like,
won't.
hey, could you go get me some coffee? Go get Rod Digger to make you some coffee.
No. You haven't. See, that's how you don't understand how my wife works.
Oh.
It would be none of that. It would be none of that. It would be like, here's your coffee. Have a nice day.
And smile, right?
Yep.
Cold-blooded.
Yep.
Cold-blooded.
And then y'all be like, what happened to Jared?
What happened to Jared?
Has anybody seen Jared?
Jared laid up. Now Jared need a kidney. What happened?
Who's just calling it, coming up in the chat? Has anybody seen Dr.
Or worse, she come in with first class seats on a flight to Panama. We taking a trip, baby.
Playing Rod Digger, Imperial.
Playing Rod Digger.
All the way to the airport.
All the way to the airport. Let's ride. And then you'd be like, where Jared at? I don't know. I heard he went to Panama.
That's what it is. I'll catch you on the next break. Peace.
Peace, doctor. All right, remixers, y'all in here. We in here. So let's go on and slap the map and get to some stories.
Whoa. I thought there was some criticism.
There was.
Oh, that's right.
My bad.
So, and I even took notes because I was watching. See, I was watching Warrior Class. Was it this week or last week? And shout out to Baba Balagoon and crew. And Balagoon was like, Kamau and Jared have it wrong.
Oh.
So when at one point we mentioned, so we were talking about, I believe it was in response to the Morgan shooting.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the possibilities of preparedness, if you remember, and you and I were both similarly situated on the spot, saying there's only so much you could do, and at a certain point, train. I mean, there's limitations even to training. Well, Balagoon took a little bit. It was a little bit of criticism for that. So let's see. That's why they were saying that. For instance, that they encouraged training techniques and explained. Oh no, I'm writing the notes I was taking. So they were saying that it's value. You should get trained. You should be prepared with techniques.
No
have exit strategies. Do all of those things. And that. Oh, so I only took the notes of what I was going to say in response. My bad. Because I was saying in response that I do encourage training techniques, and I explained that I do much of what Belay was saying in preparation with my girls. Like, we do prep. We talk about know where you're supposed to be. Like, there's basics in techniques and escape and avoidance, and have your stuff situated before you go out. We talk, the older they get, we have more and more of these conversations. But I'm still saying, and all I was saying was, and then I took they made a comment about SEAL training and advanced training, and I made a note that like even SEALs get killed. Like at the end of the day, and in fact, I made a note that the last white boy that I fought went on to become a SEAL, and then the report I got was he got blown up by an IED in Iraq. So it's like, no disrespect, but the point is it's you could go through a lot of training, and at the end of the day, it could be bad luck. It could be, look at just what's happening now. Israel is supposed to have the most powerful army in the history of that region, at least of the world, supported by an even more powerful one. And cats in an organized effort with some low tech. Whoop, 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 whoop. Fence still open. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Some
Army still confused.
Some paragliders.
You know what I'm saying? And I still love that scene. It's just such gangster to me. It's just like, no, they didn't. It's like, where the drones? Where the satellites? Where the missiles at? Where's your intelligence at? Oh, whoop, whoop. So that's all I was trying. So anyway, but there was this pushback is really what I was that we seem to be devaluing training, and I just wanted to respectfully say that
Yeah, I don't have to add too much. I completely agree with you. No one's saying don't train, but training isn't the ultimate solution always, right? Training can get you out of some situations, but like the factual example I was bringing up was Ahmaud Arbery, and I heard people say things like, "Oh, this person, if they had training," is like, come on now, you're out there jogging by yourself, you're confronted by 2 or 3 weapons. It's like they training ain't gonna get you out of everything. So that's all I was expressing, is that training isn't always the ultimate answer for the situations we find ourselves in. If you're in Walmart and someone's got mass shooter, it ain't like duck and roll or tuck and roll or whatever is going to get you out of every situation or something like that. So again, training, yes, but we have bigger societal issues than individualized training will solve. And, this is I think a Diallo comment or whatever, people be skipping this thing. I'm not saying this about Balagoon and them, but folks be skipping ahead of the steps of revolution of like, I'm ready. at least I like to believe, like people like to think that they're ready, I should say, that they're about to put their fatigues on and go battle when it ain't nobody really doing that. And there's 1,000 other ways that we got to get ourselves ready for revolution as we think about training. That's it.
And here comes the news.
Very much boss-like.
Overproduction. Don't you think it's overproduction? No, Kim's like, no, it's not over.
No. I think it is.
Overproduction.
I mean,
What amount of training could have prepared us for that?
Exactly.
I don't think there was any amount of training that can prepare us for that type of bossy behavior.
Bossy behavior.
I think he's like the band leader. Just think about James Brown leading the JBs and the Famous Flames. James tell the band to change on the 4. You know what I'm saying? This is
don't give him any ideas, because then he's gonna start taxing us money
exactly.
for
I'd be rich if I could get late fees.
See what I mean?
Or unchecked mic fees and all of that. Like we would all just be, we'd all be broke, and he'd be rolling up to the remix of the Lamborghini.
I'd be richer. That was Miss Q fees. You know what I'm saying?
Whew. Anyway, everybody,
sound,
welcome.
Time, Kamal, you would be owing us. You would be paying us to show up here. My bad. Sorry, Jack.
It's October 12th. It's a Thursday. Everybody, welcome to the Remix Morning Show on Black Power Media. We've got a full house in store for you today. Kamal Franklin's in the building. Dr. Jared Ball's in the building. I'm Kim Brown, Doctor, the erudite Jacqueline Lukemon, who is standing by for that brand new fresh kidney, fresh out the box. It's going to be a nice kidney, Jackie. I'm looking forward to that kidney for you. Guys, come on in. Give the video a thumbs up. Share with us. Come in here and get your dialogue on, your conversation on remixes. We appreciate you all showing up each and every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern time for this wonderful morning show. We got some stories, everybody. There's a lot of places we can start. Anybody have anywhere that they would like to begin?
Just a very quick one, if I could, please, just for the platform's sake, a very quick, just another heads up that we are hiring a senior director of operations.
You got employee money? All right.
We do have employee money.
Nice.
$10,000 for 6 months to take over sort of leading the growth and development and organization of the platform. So we can, the link is at imixwhatilike.org. It'll be at blackpowermedia.org if it's not already, where you can download the application. And if you or someone you think is interested and would be right for the job, please do. The whole description is up. You can read through it and get in touch. So just wanted to highlight that real quick.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Channel growing. Got hiring money. That's what's up. Real quick, before we get started, I just want to put a reminder out to anyone that lives in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Early voting is open right now in Virginia. If you have not already voted, or if you are not registered to vote, you still have some time to get registered. I think the final day to register to vote in the state of Virginia is next week. Is it the 16th? It might be Monday. So but go to and check. But regardless, this is a very consequential election in the state of Virginia. So if you are a resident, you're eligible to vote. Please go consider doing so. That's it. I just wanted to say that.
What is this election? What is this election for, Kim?
So this is for the Virginia legislature. I believe every seat in the General Assembly is up. So every seat in the Virginia General Assembly is up. And I think half of the Virginia Senate seats are up. And the governor there, Glenn Youngkin, has expressed, that they made it clear that abortion rights and abortion access are on the ballot. It's not formally on the ballot this year, but if the Republicans gain control of the Virginia legislature, they are going to do what they can to restrict access to abortion care. And Virginia, borders a lot of already abortion restricted states, including Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia. I know North Carolina is trying to restrict abortion access. So people are already traveling long distances. And if Virginia makes their abortion care standard more harsh or more strict, then people are going to have to travel even further to Maryland, to DC, up to New York. So Virginia is a very critical, pivotal state in the making sure that abortion access remains available for their residents and people who maybe even traveling there to get abortion care.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you for that. Thank you. Real quick, I want to share that today is the Haiti Day of Action for Haiti for the Black Alliance for Peace Zone of Peace campaign. Today we are gathering in front of the Kenyan embassy here from 12 to 2 p.m.
Jackie, I think there's some glitching happening, Jackie. And I don't think
Still,
we're seeing
I'm
what you're
freezing
showing,
again.
and your mic is popping in and out, and you're freezing. So I think,
Okay,
I'm not seeing anything. Is it just me?
No, it's not just you.
Okay.
no,
Jacqueline, give us a test. Talk to us real quick.
Yeah.
There we go.
Testing,
There we go.
testing.
There we go.
Testing.
We hear you,
Interesting,
girl.
huh?
There we go.
All right, so I do not know what's going on with this Mac, but okay. So anyway, today is the Zone of Peace campaign Day of Action for Haiti for the Black Alliance for Peace. We'll be gathering at a demonstration in front of the Kenyan embassy here in Washington, D.C. from 12 to 2 p.m. this afternoon. If you are in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area and you can make it, please come out. Today is the Haiti Day of Action. We talked about, I think last week, I think we talked about, or maybe I just imagined that we talked about, the Kenyan High Court temporarily put a stay on the mobilization of Kenyan police to Haiti because it is unconstitutional. It is against the Kenyan constitution. So there has been a hold on that, but that does not mean that it is not going to happen. So while we have a little time, let's make our voices heard on behalf of Haiti, on behalf of Haitian sovereignty, on behalf of the right of the Haitian people to elect their own leaders, and on behalf of their demand to get the core group the hell out of their country and to stop interfering in their affairs. There will be, a car caravan from Baltimore involving Baltimore BAP and Party for Socialism and Liberation from Baltimore to DC for this mobilization. So if you can get out, if you can come out today at the Kenyan Embassy in Washington, D.C. from 12 to 2, please join us. We would be more than pleased to have you, and so would the Haitian people. Thanks so much.
And if the Kenyans come to Haiti, and shout out to the Palestinians, because if it does happen, if they do come, the message that we want to present to them is very clear about what they should do.
Beat that bitch with a bat.
Oh my God.
That's it. I just wanted to zoom in.
I don't oppose it. I don't oppose that. I don't oppose
the best line
it
of all
at
time.
all.
That's the best line of all. One of the best lines of all time. It's one of the best.
What was the line that even rhymed with it, Kamal? You just know.
Oh, I didn't give a fuck. I just remember. That.
You can't even spit the lyric. That's it.
Beat that bitch with a bat. That's all I care about. It's stuck in my head since the first time I heard it. It's never left my head.
It's very catchy.
It's all where it always pops up in the back. And when I'm mad, I think I'm like, I'm gonna beat that bitch with a bat.
You ever seen anybody get beat with a bat?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bats are good weapons, B.
I've seen the bat introduced. I don't think I've ever seen it swung and connect with a head or anything.
Oh, not with a head. That's that. I've only seen that in movies.
Shoulder blows.
Yeah,
Shoulder
but
blows.
knees and shoulders, yeah.
Hammers. But
Hammer? Jesus, damn, Albany Project. Shit.
Yeah, hammer. Be fair. People use hammer. What do you think? Everything's a weapon. Everything's a weapon. See, I agree with Balagoon on that.
I mean, I have one in the car, but I'm hoping I never have to.
Come on, you see someone get hit with a hammer?
Yeah. I've seen my mama use a hammer on people. So
I know that's right.
Oh,
that's who I would love to hear using a hammer. That's what mamas. Yes. Mama had that hammer.
And the next story.
You know,
wow.
Good doctor. You're not James Brown out here.
I'm gonna beat that bitch.
Gosh. What? Somebody pull up a story to make him happy. Come on.
And Maceo ain't on here, ear doctor. Don't, you know what I'm saying? don't be calling out.
I did think that we often see him in the background. We often make reference to him and his work and his collegiality and comradeship, and in some cases express jealousy over the sound of his voice, and in other times express jealousy over his proximity to Jackie. But I thought, given what's happening in the world, we might actually see him in action doing some relevant work. And that is, of course, Brother Sean Blackman, aka The Voice.
Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel is at war. There's been a war against the Palestinian people every moment of every day for the past century, and they have been resisting and fighting back just like they are today.
Liberation is a verb. It requires action. It requires commitment, proactivity, and a dedication so severe that nothing can break your will, which is exactly what Palestinians have. If your support for Palestinian liberation ends when resistance begins, then you do not want liberation. You want to create a side of peace and equality.
Let me tell you something. If you don't have the courage to stand flat foot and say firmly that you are in solidarity with the Palestinian people, you ain't no kind of progressive.
Okay.
True.
True.
And
did you all?
Y'all,
yeah, go ahead.
They were covering, the different demonstrations on the local news, and there was a gathering, I think, on the campus of George Mason University, by students who were in support of Palestine, and all these kids had their faces covered. And they had their faces covered, obviously, because of the amount of vitriol and scorn and attacks. Oh, you're all supporting terrorism and all this, that, and the third. But I mean, I feel like this is a very precarious time. Like, even maybe more so now than in previous instances of Israeli aggression. It's like, if you support Palestine vocally, loudly, and on the record, there's a smear coming for you. There's an attack coming for you, for your perspective, for your politics, and it's more palpable in this moment than I think in moments previous. But what do y'all think?
Did you all see some of the clips from the pro-Israeli demonstrations? To speak to your point, because I saw this yesterday on.
So there was a large number of demonstrations in the United States on Sunday. There was a big one at Times Square. Thousands of people came out. The Answer Coalition, which I'm a part of, helped initiate the demonstration. There were many Palestinian organizations, other progressive groups. Thousands of people came out. And a huge kind of hysteria has developed as a consequence of the demonstration that was organized at Times Square on Sunday, because some of the people at the demonstration were celebrating the resistance of the Palestinian people. So it was greeted with this all-out hysteria, as if the demonstration too was just an example of sheer evil, in the words of Joe Biden. There was giant hysteria because of some of the words that were not genocidal words. They were not fascistic words. They were not anti-Semitic words. But I want to play a clip, and this is of the people who were coming to the pro-Israeli demonstration, which is actually people advocating the absolute genocide of the Palestinian people. These are Americans, presumably young American Jewish people. And again, this is all over the internet. It's on the media, but the mainstream media and all of these politicians, they don't have a word about it. It's just sort of like, oh, of course, natural. Let's hear this clip.
Fuck Palestine! Palestine to my dick!
What do you think the response should be from Netanyahu and the military to Gaza?
Kill all Palestinians! All of them! Not one left from the river to the sea. Palestine will be deceased! And Israel need to do like this. You see? Now Gaza. Like this. Gaza need to do like this. Or like this, but all this Jewish. Two options.
What do you think the response should be to Gaza?
We gotta wipe them off the fucking map. I'm walking about every fucking flats in them like a parking lot. Flats in the middle. Once and
There is
for all, get rid of that.
nothing else you can do. They proved to us there's nothing else you can do. We tried, and
we tried everything. It doesn't work. We have to wipe them flat off the fucking map, like a fucking parking lot.
I'm not stopping till all Arabs are wiped out.
I think now it's the time that we need to erase Gaza. There is people inside, our people inside, that kidnap, and now we need to kill all of them and free Israel. All of their lives is killing Jewish and killing and murder our people.
Flatten Gaza.
Tried what? That dude was like, we've tried everything. You've tried what? In the process of stealing people's land, stealing their homes, literally allowing people who do not live in the country to go up to a home where Palestinians live, violently kick them out of their home, toss their belongings out of the home, occupy the home, and then threaten those people under the threat of death by the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, the army, that if they resist or try to come back, they will to their home, they will be killed. That's the context in which older Palestinians still have when they go to protest. They will hold up the keys. They'll hold up keys. And those are the keys that they have to their homes that were taken from them by these European descended Zionist settlers. I refuse to call these people Jews. They are Zionists. That Zionism has no place. It has no claim on the Jewish religion. Zionism uses Judaism as a facade for its white supremacy and its fascism. That's what Zionism is. So what did this little child, this idiot child, talk about? We tried everything. Tried what?
Yeah,
tried to do what? Because it wasn't try to be fair with the Palestinian people. It wasn't try to live equitably and equally and in peace with the Palestinian people in their land. No, what has been tried is the eradication of the Palestinian people. And as we have seen in the way the media has responded to the Palestinian uprising, is that Palestinians aren't supposed to fight back against their own genocide and ethnic cleansing, because any way they do it, they deserve death. And we understand what that is, because that's what we get, right? Every time we protest racist police, terrorism, systemic racism, whatever, it doesn't matter how we respond, protest, sit in, singing, praying, whatever. Set a trash can, get set on fire. Oh, you can't do it that way. Don't do it that way. So the oppressed are always supposed to just silently and meekly take our oppression And we're supposed to just listen to and believe the narrative that the oppressors put out about us being animals and terrorists and crazy violent militants every time we rise up for and defend our right to exist, because that is what Palestine is doing. They're rising up to defend their right to exist. So these people, there's no with the pro-Zionist folks, there's no conversation that can be had with those people. I view them the same way I view the right adjacent left wing in this country. Stop talking to them. Stop trying to figure them out. Stop trying to understand where they're coming from. They've made it very clear what they want.
But it's so dystopian. Like, these folks are the descendants of the survivors of a genocide, the descendants of the survivors of the Holocaust. And here they are sounding like Nazis, like advocating for the genocide of another people, and not even the same people that orchestrated the genocide against their ancestors. It's so wild. And it's like, how can these folks not hear themselves? Like, how can you not hear yourself? How can you not see what Israel is doing as a state policy to basically create a huge ghetto, a lot like what the Nazis did to the survivors of the Holocaust, or the people that didn't survive the Holocaust? It's like the Nazi playbook is being executed against Palestine by the descendants of the survivors of the Holocaust. And here they are on mics and cameras advocating for the genocide of another people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because this is what the reason they can do this unironically, right, and not see their own hypocrisy is because this is what settler colonialism is, and this is the reason that the United States supports Israel so much, because, like I was talking to Chuck Modiano at that demonstration that Sean spoke at on Sunday, game recognizes game. The reason the United States government is so committed to supporting the Israeli project is because this is a settler colonial project. And the very same ideology of genocide and putting undesirables into ghettos and concentration camps, and using a surplus labor of people, of a surplus population of people that they deem unnecessary, that they don't want, or unproductive or undesirable. That's the same kind of thing that people did to found this piece of rock, to you understand, to colonize this country. So colonizers recognize colonizers, and the support of the US is only colonizers supporting colonizers. But in another way, the United States is also kind of Israel's bitch in a way. Because it doesn't matter that there was a time where US media would even tacitly report on the atrocities that Israel committed in the past against Palestine. But that doesn't even happen anymore, because anything that Israel says about Palestine, about Palestinians, the United States media writ large just regurgitates it. There is no analysis. There is no, people always want to talk about, you have to present both sides of the issue. When they say that, they don't mean to present the Palestinian perspective and the Zionist perspective. No, what they mean is you have to give legitimacy to what Israel is saying, and condemn whatever evil thing they say the Palestinians have done. That's what people mean by present both sides in the media of this issue.
I still think Baraka has the best line.
What did he say?
Both the slave and the slave master cannot be right.
I mean, that people have, and this, it's just something I can't say right now, but when I say these things, that journalists have to have integrity to stand on the side of the truth, that is a very real thing. Like, people's livelihoods are being lost because they stand on the side of the truth. And it has been interesting over the past few days to see on the so-called progressive left who whose jobs and paychecks and benefits were not on the line, it was interesting to see how many people were quick to condemn Hamas. You know, oh, this is not how you do it. Yes, there were people who were killed at the music festival or whatever it was. Okay, that was terrible. Civilian deaths are terrible. But I haven't heard these same people talk about the Palestinian civilian deaths. Not ever. And can I just say, and I'm going to end with this. Can I just say that it's a real weird flex to have a music festival next to a fucking concentration camp? Because the music festival was near Gaza. So I don't understand why you're having a music festival. You're a bunch of settlers who stole people's land near Gaza, near a concentration camp, on land that you stole. But we're supposed to both sides that? I think that we can effectively, as journalists, say civilian death is always sad, and we wish that we could avoid that. But you know how we really could have avoided all of this happening? If the West had not enabled Israel to steal Palestinian land and set up a brutal apartheid system against Palestinians. That's how all of this could have been avoided.
Go on.
You're muted, good brother.
Oh, no. I mean, I was going to say a little bit, but I think Jackie said a lot of it. You know what I mean? We have this, I mean, you have people who are washed in this propaganda system, and the thing that the only way in which they have any, well, not just the propaganda system of the news media, but the propaganda system of education, right? And what gets taught, not only in schools, but on their, you know, their holy days when they go to their synagogues. The same way when folks here go to certain churches and they teach this right-wing version of Christianity. That's why they support the folks, you know, the right-wing white Christians here who don't like Jews, who think they're all going to hell, support Israel because they think it fulfills prophecy. And people buy into that, right? And so the sense that these people, like you said, like would have at this concert, because they expect the open air prison to remain locked down. Mm-hmm. They're like, they don't expect the prisoners to revolt. How dare they revolt? How dare they step out of the nice setup that we made for them, where food, electricity, and water is all dependent on our largesse. And why is this? Because, you know, the initial reason for Gaza getting locked down was because folks voted for Hamas as opposed to Fatah, right? So they picked the wrong leadership. And they have to be punished for that. They have to be punished because they actually operated within a so-called democratic system, picked the leaders they thought best represented their struggle, their issue, that weren't compromising to the Israeli and Western ways. And for that, it got completely closed down, right? So even to this day, the caloric intake is measured around how much food Israel allows into Gaza to keep it slightly above starving, so that the UN and other human rights, or so-called human rights organizations, which are also mostly Western controlled, can't say that they're literally starving them, because they're barely starving them. And that's what happens over and over again. It's like as long as the Israeli society functions, much like as Jackie was saying, the American society functions, and the people underneath or who are oppressed in those societies are done so in ways which marginalize them, but don't outright extinguish them, then the media doesn't feel the need to react. And if they do react, again, it's on page 16, it's paragraph 12. The ways in which you do it are by peacefully protesting. You can never raise your hand or raise a weapon against those who are oppressing you. That is what that is the tautology that we as oppressed people get. And so when people do raise up, the wash of reaction by Western media is what we should expect. And obviously what we do expect. It's like, this is now the time to put people back in their place, right? To chastise them to a point of, wait a minute, we can't have you supporting resistance fighters, because then you're learning the wrong lesson. Because now you're learning the lesson that when people have the operational use of violence, and it's not controlled by one party, by one system, by one faction, by the oppressor, then things might change. Because then people get the wrong idea that they can fight back. And so this is all about putting not only Palestinians back in their box by literally destroying Gaza, but by putting the rest of us back in our box by having the nerve to say that it's a resistance struggle. What do you think resistance means? It doesn't mean knocking on doors and putting up signs always and going like, hey, we're here. Notice us. Can we do another petition at the UN? Is that what we need to do? Can we do another march or demonstration? Can we do another vote and plead? You know what I mean? As rights after rights after rights are being taken away, as our lives are being minimized, and as the real cost is the loss of human life, but on a slow, continual basis. And when I say slow, I don't mean real slow. I just mean like, malnutrition, birth rates, imprisonment, jails, police brutality and violence, the type of thing that takes 5 lives, 10 lives, 15 lives, 20 lives a day. And then the people like the New York Times and other news outlets feel like they don't have to report it really, or they can make some excuse. Well, that was a bad apple, or there's now an investigation being done by the Israeli authorities to see who should really be blamed for this and held accountable. There's a report coming out. So there's a report. So now they've done their job as the oppressor. They are doing a report on their violence against people. So that's what we're supposed to buy into. And if we don't buy into it, then we're all just supporters of terrorism. So that's the lesson learned around how the propaganda system is working right now. And this should be a class for people around how things work. Look at DSA, not really progressive at all, but being pushed on their asses, shoved on their asses for doing nothing more than putting their name on a flyer and promoting the flyer on social media. They're so fucking scared now that it's ridiculous. They're like, they're coming like, oh no. We didn't really endorse this. We just promoted it. We didn't know what people were going to say. We're not really down with that. They're being pushed on their asses to make sure that they never do this, never speak out like this again. And that they have their own internal meetings now to be like, we got to take that, let's go on that website, let's take down that Free Palestine thing down. You know what I mean? So this is all about limiting the space for fighting oppression, for making sure that you can't fight it whatsoever, except do what they consider to be acceptable, which is to come at 2:00, march until it, leave at 3:00, go home, and then let the big folks handle it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a few years ago, in March of 2021, one of the things that me and Abdus did with our church that we are so incredibly proud of, it was certainly one of the things that he was the most proud of. He really organized this teach-in about Palestine, and we created kind of we called it BOSA 411, the Board of Social Action. That is the board of progressive radical folks in our church who are using our faith to focus on justice issues on behalf of oppressed people. So we put in the church bulletin for pretty much a year the basic facts about the founding of Israel and the history of Zionism. Pissed off a couple people, but we kind of figure if we're making people mad, we're doing our job. That's what. So Abdus organized this teach-in that where he invited members of the Naturi, I keep mispronouncing their name, the Naturi Karta. They're an organization of Orthodox Jews who adhere to the Talmud, and they are opposed to Zionism. They always have been, as most Orthodox Jews are. And they are in support of Palestine. And he invited a Muslim imam and had Reverend Hagler speak. So I think I'm gonna upload that teach-in to the platform because there was, and this was done in 2021. he and I also did a couple of shows talking about the history of Palestine and Israel. And I might upload those too, because people need to understand that this is not like, first of all, this isn't a war that is going on. What Israel is doing is the ongoing genocide of Palestine. That's what they're doing. This isn't a war. And people need to be very, very clear on where this conflict came from, how it started, and what it's not connected to. Again, it is not connected to Judaism. All these claims of anti-Semitism because you stand with Palestine, and the doxing of students, like what was done in New York City with their faces and their addresses being broadcast on the side of like a video truck or whatever in New York City. It's being done to do exactly what Kamal said, to keep us from being publicly, openly in solidarity with Palestinian people. But the genie's out of the box on that one. So that's
really quickly too. Like the other thing that continually happens is the propaganda of the U.S. and the Israeli government within the Black community in particular. It happens in other communities too. But the amount of free trips and that they give out to churches, schools, and governments to come visit Israel, to see the land of historic Christianity, according to them, of course, in terms of Jerusalem, to see Israel in full practice as the so-called democracy in the Middle East. Though, I mean, they are awash with like free trips, free money, free gifts, to try to continue to connect parts of the Black community, again, students and churches in particular, and governments, to have these tours. When I was in Jackson, Mississippi, they had a tour for the government of the city of Jackson to come over and visit Israel. Obviously, everything paid for, right, for folks to go. So these insidious measures are also what help, because, you know, fools can't turn down a trip. They can't turn down a few dollars and an honorarium and or the prestige of being on somebody's stage, right? That's just too much for them. So they continue to do that. And then that's how they further build out their propaganda mechanism of locking you into a story, so that when you go and they'll show you the sites of what they consider to be historical Jewish sites there, and then they'll show you the ways in which they defeated the evil Palestinians and or the war that the siege that they're under. They'll show you all the stuff in this history according to their point of views. And then you come back here parroting the same stuff around what Israel is. And that's part of the propaganda purposely, right? The so-called conspiracy is that they know that they get deep into Black communities by going to the church and going to students and providing these free trips and for them to go visit Israel, then come back with full of propaganda for the next person who wants to go.
A lot of the propaganda that I saw on Saturday when the thing first happened was that this was an unprovoked attack by Hamas. And I was like, did unprovoked change its definition? How we define an unprovoked? And I think that's something that we need to just consistently remind not our folks, not people that watch Black Power Media, but people who may be swayed by some of the mainstream propaganda surrounding what's going on right now. Well, Hamas attacked them unprovoked. Just because it wasn't covered on Good Morning America when it happened, don't mean that these people are not responding in this way because of sustained continual attacks that they have been enduring for decades.
Well,
absolutely.
I'll forgive this in advance. This is terrible. But speaking of unprovoked attacks.
Oh, whatever, man. Yo, we got a live update going on with the case that's going on. We brought last week when we brought Kalonji. Speaking of Kalonji, Jamba Changa. What's good?
Good morning.
Hey. What's good? How y'all feeling? I'm mobile right now, but we got to get the job done. However, we get it done. How y'all feeling today out there in remix land?
Good. Right.
Beautiful and oddly stationary.
That's right. Brand new, juicy, supple kidney.
Okay.
You're welcome.
No doubt. Kabal gave it to you?
Exactly. I got stitches right here to prove it. Stitches.
Okay, yes. Okay, it's fine. It's Kamal's kidney. Okay, fine.
He gave her a headache.
But anyway,
that's the only thing I given her is a headache. I think.
no doubt. I just wanted to, give an update. I know that right now imperialism's at an all-time high. We got what's going on in Palestine. You got what's going on in Niger. You have what's going on in Haiti, and pretty much all over the planet. And it trickles down all the way to Cop City, and it trickles down to what's going on in the streets of anywhere USA. As you all know, on August 10th, there was a deacon, Johnny Holloman, who was murdered here in Atlanta by a young 23-year-old melanated pig, a black pig, decided to violate this man. He joined the family and the attorney a few weeks ago in a rally and protest to, bring on justice. They was trying to get body cam footage. But now we understand that there's some breaking news, so we're going to go in a few seconds to the daughter of Johnny Holloman and also one of our resident attorney, I'm going to say, Miles Davis. So, y'all stay tuned and stick with us. What's happening, fam? How y'all doing?
To serve as over.
Wound up moving to Memphis and getting into the music scene on the Remix Morning Show. Who am I going to talk about real quick? No other than Bobby Blue Bland. That's right. Bobby is man, what a voice. Let me tell you about him real quick. He goes by Robert Calvin Bland. He's a blues singer. Now, he was known for mixing gospel, blues, and R&B. He has some great stories in his music that's dealing with love, betrayal, all types of drama. He's also looked at as the Sinatra of blues. Yeah. And he's influenced by Nat King Cole. He was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 1981, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992, and the Memphis Music Hall of Fame in 2012. He received Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 1997. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame described him as a second to B.B. King, as known for the Memphis Bill Street blues scene. And Rolling Stone ranked him as the 200 greatest singers of all time because he got such a voice. He's coming straight out of Tennessee. He actually was dropped out of school, 3rd grade, and started working in the cotton fields. Wound up moving to Memphis and getting into the music scene with B.B. King, Junior Parker, Johnny Ace, a bunch of the Bill Street blues singers. And he got scouted by Ike Turner. That's right, Ike Turner helped him out, and then later he was like, all right, well, let me get some of this commercial success, and he came out with a song called Father Up the Road. So that came out, and then that put him out there. But let me tell you, he had about at least like 25 albums. So you got to go check him out and check out all the work he's done. You might have heard this song right here sampled by Kanye West and Jay-Z on his Blueprint album. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning crew. You know how we do. Let's go.
And now that you're gone, oh, the sun don't shine.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the further we get away from sharecropping, the further away we get from hearing voices like that. It is a proximity to that era and to that level of Black suffering that evokes that vocal quality, tone, depth, texture. Like, oh man, like it can't be replicated.
And
Bring back slavery.
Shut up, Karen.
Shut up.
We need better music.
No.
Shut up.
but I hate that he has to be compared to a white singer, the Sinatra of the. Get the fuck.
Hopefully, we won't go back to the conks again. Now that conk was
that is a mean conk. He had
pretty stylish. That took a lot of burning of the scalp to get that.
That conk.
That's a lot of potatoes.
Yeah, that's a lot of scalp burning.
All types of scabs. All right. Well, listen, I got to get out of here for the day.
Where you going, son?
I got some BI to handle. You know what I mean?
But
what? What's that?
That's your business. Show business. Yeah, slang. See, let me put y'all up on this hip hop slang, and y'all put me up on y'all big English. What is it? What is it? The Queen's English. Y'all put me up on the Queen's English words y'all be using.
Queen's English.
Yeah, put me up on that. So I will catch y'all on Sundays. So tune in for that, and y'all have a great show.
Thank you, Ear Doctor. Thank you so much. Be easy out here. Thank you, remixers. Hey, thank y'all for sticking around. Please give the video a thumbs up. Big up to Kalanji Changa, and of course his interview there with Anitra Holloman and the good esteemed brother, the attorney. Come out, I have some questions because if you could put some of this into context, because I was following the story last week as reported by the Atlanta Community Press Collective, Free Press Collective. They had the story about Deacon Holloman's family testifying in front of the Atlanta City Council, and they talked about the 12-0 vote the City Council gave to authorize or to encourage the Atlanta police to release this body cam video when Deacon Holloman was murdered by the Atlanta police. But the mayor doesn't have to adhere to this resolution, and the police don't have to adhere to this resolution.
No, this is strictly. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I have a second question, but go answer that.
No, I was going to say this is strictly a resolution. And as you know, a resolution sounds powerful because it's something passed by the city council by unanimous vote, but a resolution is not an ordinance, which in other words, is not a law. It's the same thing as saying today is Bobby Blue Band Day. Let's pass a resolution and say that. You know what I mean? So this is the saying, in their opinion, this is what should happen, but it has no force of law. There's other triggers that have to, no pun intended, there's other triggers that have to happen. That the city through the police agency and or the mayor's office can force them to release the videotape. But what the council did was just putting themselves on record and saying that they believe it should be released. But make no mistake about it, the police could have already released this videotape if they so choose to do so. They're letting time lapse. They're trying to get their ducks in a row, obviously by firing the officer first. And we should also be clear, the officer, just because they're fired, it does not mean that they cannot be rehired. So we have here, similar in other cities, but here when Rashad Brooks was killed in Atlanta at the Wendy's, that white officer was fired. He sued and he got his job back. And today he's on the Atlanta police force. So there is nothing that doesn't prevent this other officer from also suing, getting back pay for when they were fired, and then getting back on the force.
My other question pertains to the release of the videotape, but how the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and I believe the Georgia State's Attorney's Office, how they are trying to link the release of Deacon Holloman's body cam footage to the release of the footage surrounding the assassination of Tortuguita. And because the GBI, I guess, made a request of the state's attorney's office that they didn't want this footage released, the state's attorney was just shrugging their shoulders like, well, we can't release it until the investigation is over. But then the investigation surrounding Tortuguita's assassination, was that closed this week or late last week?
Late last week, they released their report. But again, according to the GBI, one, of course, they exonerated the officer's conduct and tried to paint Tortuguita as a Rambo figure who was not only in a cloth tent, sitting in a cloth tent, taking bullets, firing back, exploding improvised devices, all of that while being shot at. That was the story. This was a new part of it, the IEDs or whatever, was a new part of the story that none of us had heard prior. But in this releasing by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, they claimed that that the people they interviewed suggested that stated that Tortuguita was exploding devices in front of the tent at the officers. And their claim, of course, is that there is no videotape of the actual incident. There's videotape that the Atlanta Police Department has because they are required to put their body cams on anytime they interface with the public. The Atlanta Police Department in the city of Atlanta actually started releasing that videotape, which is how we got some early evidence that was in line with what folks in the community had said, that there was this sudden burst of gunfire, not a one shot and then a return to fire, but a sudden burst of gunfire. And in the police video itself, you can hear the police officers saying, look, hey, that's suppressed fire, i.e. code word for that's police fire. And also stating that he thinks they're shooting themselves. So that's how we got that information. But then the Georgia Bureau of Investigation told the Atlanta police to stop releasing their videotape.
Wow.
And Atlanta listened. Now, again, there is no law, no ordinance that the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has power over the Atlanta police and or the city to stop them from releasing their own videotape of not only what happened in the Tortuguita incident, but what happened with Johnny Holloman. They have no jurisdiction to stop them from releasing. But the Atlanta police kowtowed in the former case to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. And in this case, too, it seems like they're doing the same thing, but they're also delaying as they try to get their ducks in a row and saying, hey, we're seeking justice on this. We fired the police officer. We've had now meetings with the family. And so this is all similar to what they did, I guess, in New Orleans, not New Orleans, in Memphis. This is all about lessening the heat for that when they do release it, they feel like they've taken the steam out of it. And so therefore it can now be put out to the public.
And I want to ask Kamal, because people say this all the time, and I'm beginning to think differently about this, the idea that, cops act this way because they're afraid of people. And I think that's incorrect. I don't think that cops commit extrajudicial killings of people because they're afraid of people. So what's your take on that? That we know they don't mean it when they say, oh, I feared for my life, but is this really like a fear of the other that you think is precipitating these types of actions, or is it something else?
I think I think a lot of that stuff is mixed in, and not fear. Fear is in taught fear, right? People that they're taught in their academies to think of the public as the enemy, the people to be subdued. They are taught to control the situation. And so when you speak back to a cop, their first reaction is to be more dominant than you, to control the situation and control you as a human being, because for them that establishes power and command control over the situation. And so if this, again, 62 to 63-year-old man, preacher said, wait a minute, what are you doing? I don't understand what's happening here. Mm-hmm. The cop is taught through training and through society, right? As somebody who doesn't want to be spoken back to, or somebody who feels like they're in a position of control, they have the law on their side. As someone who has a badge, a gun, a taser, mace, whatever else they have, that how dare you question anything that they say? And again, this was a 20-something-year-old cop, right? This was a kid who's happy to be in a position of power and to exert that power, bringing together with all of that, Black or white cop, the system of oppression and racism and white supremacy, of like how they talk to a Black person as compared to a white person. You can better believe a white person would have survived that, right? A white person would have talked greasy to that cop. Fuck you to that cop. I mean, we've seen videos. I've seen videos of white folks with guns pointed at cops who don't get shot at, sticking middle fingers up at cops, yelling at them, telling them that I pay your salary, and the cops back off. I don't see those same type of videos and interactions when it comes to Black folks, particularly dealing with the cops and stuff like that. So I think there's a whole lot that's going on in terms of the power structure, what's part of the training, and what's part of the propaganda that people have in general when they interact with Black people, particularly certain kinds of Black people.
Right on.
And you can't train that out of them. Let's be clear with that too.
Oh, that's a great point.
That's not being trained out of nobody, because the training itself is part of what leads to the behavior to begin with. And so anytime these elected officials, I just read something that said the mayor of Atlanta is suggesting that the death of Holloman is another reason why they need Cop City, right? So he's actually using the fact that the officer killed somebody. And so they go back and forth, right? They go back and forth on how they'd like to use this. Any situation, again, is always a situation for spending more resources on cops. That's ultimately what it comes down to. If crime is high, then we need, or if their statistics say that crime is high, then we need more cops on the street. If their statistics say crime is dropping, as it does now in Atlanta, but then we need to keep that going. So then we need more cops on the street. There's never a reason for them to defund, refund, take funds away, think of alternatives in any mass way, because obviously the system itself, the system of policing, or the system of governance, demand that they have their public army to sick on us when they want us to be healed, and to imprison us, for extrapolate us from the general population as extra labor to be put in these jails and prisons, which again also provide jobs, not exclusively, but at this stage also provide jobs for working class people, to again give them a sense of power as they're just basically acting as jailers.
So speaking of a lot of this, if the connections are rampant and unbelievable, but trying to follow what's been going on in the world, but also at Morgan State, the parallels are crazy. And some of the media coverage, I've been actually trying to take some notes on the media coverage, and a lot of it is doing what you're talking about, less directly, but a lot of it is even from some of my former colleagues who have been publishing stories in the local press, talking about the thugs and the cowards that ruined our homecoming, and the value of policing. And it was just announced, apparently, I had heard rumors of it, but apparently the news is coming out now that Morgan State is going to build a wall around Baltimore campus after 4 students were shot. A wall will be constructed around Morgan State University after 5 people, including 4 students, were shot at the Baltimore campus last week. University President David Wilson announced Tuesday that the college would be investing $22 million in security upgrades, including the construction of an 8,000-foot-long barrier to eliminate unfettered access to the school, the Associated Press reported. We're doing this, let me be clear, not to keep out our neighbors and our community writ large. We are doing it to keep out the bad actors, Wilson said during a town hall meeting. Along with the wall, which will encircle 90% of the campus, Morgan State officials touted plans to install more metal detectors, more police patrols, and more security guard booths on campus to ensure student safety. Officials said that many of the upgrades were already planned for the future, but would be sped up to address the latest anxieties over student safety. So it just feels like the inertia of more resources towards security and policing and surveillance. There's a lot of discussion around cameras and camera quality, given the photos that I think were just released of the suspects. And some of my students' reactions to that town hall, by the way, was very interesting. And I did jokingly note that I didn't know it was even taking place, and was somewhat shocked that my invitation email must have.
I was wondering, were you there when I saw that they were having this town hall? I said, is Jared even in the building?
I didn't even know it was happening. I didn't even, and I don't recall even hearing a word about it. But apparently faculty were there. It was packed. And from what I understand, the president spoke for a bulk of the time, giving context, and then there was about, I think, 10 selected for questions or comment, or 5 or something like that. And it depends. There's the students are stressed, and they are in some cases wanting more of that security. So they were happy to hear about some of that. Others were saying kind of what we say around here a little bit. I'm not necessarily thrilled with more people with guns and more cameras, and it just doesn't always work out for us, was sort of the sentiment. But at the same time,
and it won't work out for them, because what they're going to use the surveillance is going to be on students. It's going to be like, if you don't have your ID at the proper place, and you say like, yo, I forgot it in my dorm room.
Sorry to cut you off, but they did say that. They said they instituted a new policy. So to get to that town hall, you had to have your bear card. And there were some students who were seniors and who were I think seniors in particular who were kind of like, I gotta what? Like
you gotta show ID.
What? Yeah, you should know. Like, I'm here. Like, But
if you lose your ID, if you have a guest that comes on campus and you want to bring them on, if you're late to something, all of that, and again, as these human interactions happen, some guard / cop is trying to exert their authority. It's like, I don't know who you are. It's like, you just saw me 2 minutes ago when I came back. Like, I didn't see you come in here. And what does that lead to? Who's going to get arrested? The students are going to get arrested. Who's going to get expelled? The students are going to get expelled.
Right.
So that all, like, and again, yes, I understand people's need for security, of course, but the solutions that they offer, like they said, they had plans for that. They already had plans for this. It's not a secret per se. Like and again, like, even though it's kind of like I'm forgetting the term about never letting a good, disaster or whatever go to waste, but this is one of those things that they do. There's like, now we got it. And again, as we spoke about yesterday, all the money they need will be raised in a split second to do this. If it's money to cut tuition, somehow we can't come up with that. If there's money for more scholarships, somehow that's not going to happen. If it's money to pay teachers so that they can feed their family, like, you know what? We got to look at the budget next year for that. But for a wall, and so I have enough money to build that wall 2 times higher than what they just suggested,
Yeah.
A former student of mine is now working on a PhD at Howard and interviewed me for the Hilltop. So I got to do my low-level Kamau yesterday or the day before. And part of what my comments were before I even saw this news was that a lot of it is the contradictions between what exists on campus and what exists in the community right next door that help exacerbate these tensions and create and now that they're going to build a wall, it's just going to be even more. So the claim can be, we're not doing this to keep out the community, but they've already made sure to talk about the fact that the suspect was not a student, that this is from the community, that there is a concern about the East Baltimore region. And so when you put up a wall or a fence or put up more security, and then you're requiring more ID, obviously it's going to be just sort of a de facto, here we are with all of these resources and all this construction. You see all the cranes and all of the investment and all of the money pouring in. And you're on the other side of that fence, broke.
And then another thing real quickly is going to be, they're going to look over that fence, those on campus, and say, like, you know what we should do now we should now buy that building and get rid of these people. So they're not any.
They already did. So that's the expansion of the Northwood Shopping Center. That's the expansion of the student housing and the claim of the previous claim of tearing down the spite wall, which wasn't it. I mean, it's a complete.
Wow.
It is one of the more surreal things I've seen in terms of my own immediate experience of just watching the fraudulence emerge and the story, the false story just take national attention. It's like, that's not what's happening. And you just like that. That's not what that was. But so that's all that's what's going on. And then I saw, Ricky did point out in the chat, and I got to credit Ricky and the BAP crew for a lot of the details that I even know about Morgan's relationship to the 1033 program and the private security force, and I didn't even know. I'm just seeing these dudes pop up in the building I'm working. I'm walking in there, and there's a new uniform person there, usually sitting there eating a meal. Funnily enough, he's just sitting there. He seems to always be snacking. He's like the Brad Pitt of security. He always eating. On his scene is always involving him eating. And it's like, and the first thing I think is, if I had intended to do something, what are you gonna do about it? Like, you're a non-factor. The moment I decide it's on, your presence is not a deterrent. It might even be an added inducement, even because it'd be just, once you're at that level, what are you? So the point is. And then, by the way, right outside my building is the new expanded brand new police substation there.
Good.
So it's by the way, which I got to see one day because I take my office breaks in my car in the parking lot, since, my office is a precariously positioned. So, and I just happened to see police out there relieving himself in the parking lot.
Ew.
Yeah, ew. And then just go on about his day. And I'm like, first of all, the building's right there. The building I walked out of is right there. Your police station is right there. But no, he felt, no, it was on right here. And admittedly, by the time I realized what happened, he was already moving on. But I was like, wait a minute. But
if a student did that,
going to jail.
And
I think there's a particular irony surrounding the construction or proposed construction of this wall, especially considering the history of walls on the campus of Morgan State to begin with, that spite wall was constructed by the whites to keep out the blacks, right? And now
it's still there, by the way.
Yes.
Right.
So they literally would not have to feed them.
Right. But here we are some decades later, and now you have these aspirational class climbers also now wanting to construct their own wall to keep the blacks out. And it's like, y'all don't see the irony in this, but what's a wall going to do in the middle of an urban campus? It doesn't seem feasible, plausible. It doesn't seem like something that can meet the stated objectives. Like, you're not going to be able to keep the community out, and it is a tremendous just waste of resources to do what? This is a symbolic wall. This wall is not going to actually provide any security. It is a message and a symbol to the surrounding community. There in Hill Road, Moravia, everybody, y'all stay out of here. This ain't for you.
The Palestinians continue to demonstrate for us the value of all of these devices. I mean, again, the moment you decide it's on, it's on. I mean, so instead of taking care of the contradictions, there's just no money in that. That's the whole point. There's no money and power in that. All the money and power is and keep building it up, and we'll sacrifice a few here and there. And the Israeli elite. I remember your boy, by the way, Kamal, back in the day. One of the early essays I read in my politicization was an essay from Chomsky saying that about just that point. Chomsky said, the money and power is all in creating the conditions that repeat this cycle. So we know the Israelis don't want to end anything, and the people in power here don't want to really end anything. You're happy to sacrifice even a few of your own if necessary, because at the end of the day, it just means more will accumulate to you and yours. So it's It's remarkable. So yeah, build another fence, build another wall, and when something goes wrong with that, we'll come up with the next one. And then and by the way, all of the increased funding coming to the university is designed around cybersecurity, military intelligence, all. So it's like we're going to spend money to train the future generations of leaders who will help create the new technology to suppress future generations of those oppressed by the conditions we're going to keep creating. It's fucking beautiful.
And keep reporting on it over and over again, like it's a natural consequence of poverty or
and the liberals will get a Pulitzer.
Yeah,
somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, somebody will get some grants and
Gross.
I'm a Carver Genius Award.
Yep. There'll be more reports.
It's going to be perfect. And then we'll even scrape off a couple dollars to give another lunatic radical a Freedom Scholar Award too, make him even look even better. Fuck it. Like, what are we gonna do? I mean, it's so. Oh man.
Another lunatic radical.
Black Power Media, the home of the Black lunatic radical.
By the way, we're hiring for a new senior director of operations.
It's a new lunatic radical.
To take over and run the lunacy. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, just as a reminder, check out,
I love it. Aspirational
in.
class climbers and lunatic Black radicals. I like it.
Oh man. Yeah, so it's wild times. In all seriousness, though, I think that's why what we do here is that much more important. I mean, because it is difficult to find some safe harbor thought and analysis.
Well, the next thing that's going to happen too is I think the Supreme Court, these court cases, a slight deviation, but not much of. The Supreme Court is going to end all this historically Black college shit anyway. Because they're looking to strike down anything to do with race that particularly benefits Black people. And these schools have no problem whatsoever, in my estimation, for what I've even seen, of starting to recruit white students who can pay higher tuitions into their schools to meet their own sort of diversity quotas around more white students. But the Supreme Court go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Remember, part of that $500+ million lawsuit that the University of Maryland had to pay out to Morgan and others, or that the state of Maryland had to pay out to Morgan and others because of the bigger white universities duplicating our programs, et cetera, and so forth, had a lot to do with. Part of the argument was white enrollment at Morgan since the 1970s had gone down precipitously. And they were saying we're losing access to our whites, our access to that white money. And there was when President Wilson came on board a few years ago, there was, even in his delivery and discussion, there was this vibe of we're trying to move beyond the HBCU. We are a universal. We are because they want that. They made that deal with the Saudis a couple of years ago. We were teaching all these Saudi students, again, the surreality of it all. I mean, it was insane. I mean, people who barely spoke English, who knew nothing about the basics of U.S. history, are supposed to just fall into your classroom and just go. And it was oh man. But but it's all it's money. It's money. So it's bizarre. The whole thing is some wild.
If it was money, then why did they settle that lawsuit? The lawsuit was for $1 billion, and all the Maryland HBCUs agreed to the 50%, to the $500 million. It's like
what did the fraternal order police tell them dudes and telemarketers?
10%
50%.
of something
better than nothing.
I'm sorry.
It's all relative.
But if you owe me $100, I want my $100. I don't want $50. I want my whole.
But if you're convinced that you're not gonna get the 100, somebody might convince you to take that 20.
Not even the fifth quarter 20. Pennies on the dollar, B. Pennies on the dollar.
Look,
you ain't got nothing else yourself. Pennies on the dollar make a lot of sense.
I mean,
I know it's not the whole thing, but hey, look, you could be getting nothing.
I encourage people all the time, look at it's public record. Go look at the salaries. Go look at the salaries that people are making. You can go see mine. Go look at the salaries and then ask yourself, where else are you going to make that money? What else would you be doing? Where else are you going to go? Because like what? So it's like, let's just dig in and make that money. And on some level, that's why we're even in talking about all this with my classes and hearing, I mean, some of the students are very critical. They're like, this is all PR. We're just getting messaging and nothing's being done for real. A lot of students went home. So we're doing hybrid again, teaching. Folks are just, and parents are calling and again, you could just hear the tugging on that purse string. And you start to, Morgan had announced the highest enrollment in history. We hit over 10,000 students for the first time ever. That's and what I mean, yeah. And graduation rates over 6 years has gone, I think, up to almost 40% now, which is,
is that high? 40%?
For Morgan, yeah.
Wow.
6 years. But the point is, whether you graduate or not, that's 6 years of student loan and debt and fees.
For the university, that's 6 years of income.
That's
right. So they're like, you don't have to take this diploma if you don't want it.
Care whether you get it or not.
Still run us that check. Joe Biden ain't forgave nothing yet. Y'all still owe them money.
Nope. So I mean, it's bizarre. But there was also, and again, I was not in the room, but I heard from someone who was that secondhand that the president has also said that he walked away from a table of money because it was attached to Morgan being involved in a study about the persistent effective racism on Black residents of Maryland. And the president apparently didn't want that kind of public association. He was trying to walk away.
We don't care about the health effects of racism on the Blacks.
I mean, yeah. So
we want that security money. We want that surveillance money.
And if you just go, you could look at the front page of the website any day. I mean, all the news, all the grant money, the foundation. I mean, it's all overwhelmingly. I can't say all of it. Overwhelmingly, it's coming for STEM. It's coming from military. It's coming from government. It's coming from. And there's a lot. There's just so much going on the camp, like the cybersecurity and blockchain investment teachings. I mean, it's just wild. It's just very wild. So shout out to those of us trying to do anything in these spaces. I'll just leave it there because so we do need to alert the remixers that Ear Doctor ran out on us again. He owes us yet another mix. He claimed something about, I don't know, something about kids or a job. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is.
He ain't got no job.
I don't know what it is. These alleged responsibilities that this man says he has. I don't know, but
his job is to be here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But so he owes us a mix. Anything you all want to let us know about before we get out of here? The weekend's coming up. Earn Your Liberation tomorrow morning. Anything?
No program?
I have no idea what I'm doing Friday night. I don't know.
All right. Something.
But you
just ring the bell.
Yes, yeah. As far as I know, I'll be on Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
And things change so fast around here, who knows? But as far as I know.
So the safest thing is just pull up BPM's YouTube page and just sit in front of it. Everybody, just stay there and wait for the next show to start. That's it. Don't do nothing else. just stay there.
That's all.
You be good. Kim, anything you want to let us? Anything you want?
I didn't do a show Tuesday, but I'll be doing the show on Friday. So, no, we're gonna make our positions firm and known on Palestine come Friday. Like, there's not gonna be. Let me make sure I'm never getting a job ever in my life. let me double quadruple, triple, quintuple. Let me just do it all the way. Let's make sure we never get hired.
So tune in tomorrow for Kim's career.
I mean, I've been did that.
Suicide.
But
Okay,
let's just make it plainer.
Okay. dig the grave a little deeper.
Let's dig that trench in a little few feet deeper. Let's get in. So yeah.
All right. Come out. Anything? Community movement builders.
Protesting somewhere, speaking somewhere, organizing somewhere, that kind of thing.
That's what's up.
All right,
Now you look
everybody.
nice today. I like the beard. What'd you do to the beard?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're doing. What's going on? I think you got a new barber. Somebody, was there something different about your head and your face?
Wait a minute. Let me give you my look.
Have you seen him in his new house? Could that be it? Is it the
he's finally in a well-lit room.
Maybe that could be it. And he is not the lighting, believe it or not.
Well, it's 10 o'clock.
Okay. Jackie getting a kidney. Peace, everybody.
It's a good week for all. It's a good week for all.
Good
yes.
week. See y'all later. Peace. Thanks.